The Astral Ember's ship has been overrun by an Ork host, led by Captain Badruk. The Freebooters run amok on the ship. Can they take control back and carry on to their homeworld? Welcome to the channel, and welcome to this 500-point boarding action narrative battle, where the Astral Ember's Space Marines are trying to wrestle control of their ship back from the Freebooter Orks, led by Captain Badruk. Hope you liked the little cinematic at the beginning. Thought I'd try and give a bit of sort of narrative context to this battle. Basically, the Freebooters have taken over the Astral Ember's ship, and they're just running amok. So the Astral Embers are going to have to make a counter-offensive over the course of the next few battles in boarding actions to try and take control of it. Will they manage to get control, or will they end up having to hit the drop pods and get the bejesus out of there? My last video, these folks faced off against the Tyranids, and it was a super close battle, and it actually came down to the last dice roll to determine who actually won it. So check that out if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. I'll now go through basically what the two forces are. I'll also say that a while since I've played the Orks, and even then I didn't play them that often. And they've got so many little rules to remember, so we'll see how we get on. So first up for the Orks, who's taking over the ship? It's some Freebooters led by Captain Badruk here. Started this Freebooters army in lockdown. We have a unit of 20 boys. I'm not entirely sure if that is exactly 20, but you know, we'll work around it. They also include this cool 2nd edition Ork, one of the first Orks I ever owned were like these. It wasn't this exact one, but you know, nostalgia vibes. Yeah, we've got Badruk, we've got burner boys, we've got some flash gits with stogies and everything. And at the back here, so what they call, you know, those jumpy troops anyway, because it's pirate themed. These are on cannonball squigs. These are shiny black squigs. And I think I'm just going to use them as commandos. Let me see where my list is. Is that right? Yeah, these guys are commandos, basically. Yeah, that is the pretty much exactly 500 points of Orks. Here we have kind of bending the rules a little bit, because it's going to be better to do that, basically. Primaris Chaplain on bike. He can go through doors if he wants, if they open the right way. We've got Hellblasters here, fairly long range, pew pew. They can overcharge for 2 damage if they want, but they might singe their fingers. Some aggressors with flamers. So in the last battle, I think they pretty much killed an entire unit of Gene Stealers in one turn, which was pretty good. And we've got these guys, who in the last battle did absolutely nothing except for making their Hellblaster friends feel better about themselves just by being close by. In terms of what layout we're going to play, it's going to be this, but instead of having attackers and defenders this way, I'm actually going to have attackers here and defenders here. And right now, the Freebooters have control of the ship, so it's actually going to be these that need to push up and take objectives. I'm also going to move this objective here, or thereabouts, just to really emphasize the fact that Space Marines need to really gain ground in order to win this battle in the 5 turns. I think I'm also going to I'm not going to do the full narrative sort of campaign XP tracking and things like that for the units, but I might start doing the like the impediments. If someone loses, you know, there's certain debuffs that you can apply that basically make them slightly worse for the next battle. That could be a little bit of narrative spice to add. I really need to add an eyeball to that little targety squid. I might do that right now. Done. So on to what each unit has. So first off, the Primaris Chaplain on the bike. He has a exaltation of rage. If that's successful, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to that attack's wound roll, or litany of hate. Each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, you can reroll hit rolls. He has a 4-up invulnerable. He's got a 6-inch leadership kind of radius. He moves 14, whacks things on a 2, shoots things on a 3. He's got 7 wounds, toughness 5. Can shoot a little bit, but honestly, he's better just whacking stuff with his pretty fancy stick. Aggressors at the back there, they have Flamestone Gauntlets in melee. They're basically like power fists. They can crush things, double his power, -3 AP, 2 damage. They can shoot things. Assault D6, that's 3d6 auto hits if they're all shooting, which is pretty useful against sort of hordes. Next up, we have the assault squad down here. They've got chainswords, pistols, fragment crack, 2 wounds each. They hit things on 3s. They the sergeant has 3 attacks. They have 2 each. Pretty good. In fact, no, they get 3 each with their starters chainswords as well. So they really need to get in and do some damage. Hellblasters, 30-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 7, -4 AP. Pretty good. All of them have They Shall Know No Fear, Angels of Death, Bolt of Discipline. So Angels of they've got the normal Space Marine stuff, and they also have the doctrines that change each turn, which I always forget to do. Okay, moving on to the Orks now. We'll start with the main man, Captain Badruk. What's he got? So the whole army is freebooters, which means that each time, if a freebooter basically destroys a unit, then they add 1. Other freebooters add 1 to the hit rolls, I think. What else we got? Captain Badruk's got an ammo runt, so you can reroll the hit roll once. He's got a Ripper gun, which is 24-inch heavy 3, strength 8, -3 AP. He can supercharge it if he wants, kind of like a plasma gun. He's got a 4-up invulnerable, toughness 6, 6 wounds, 5 attacks in combat. So pretty good all around, to be honest. Next up, we have the Pirate Boys. I absolutely love this guy here in the middle there with the pirate hat on. There are 19 of them. Sorry, not 20 of them. They get 3. The boss knob gets 3 attacks each. He's got a power claw which doubles his strength to 10, which is pretty beast. -3 AP and 2 on that. A lot of stuff, good stuff going on with them basically if you get them into combat. We've got the Burner Boys here. Ooh, right at the front, not going to focus. That's better. So they've got burners, 12-inch, assault D6, strength 4, no AP. One of them's got a custom mega blaster. I think that might be that little guy there, which is a 24-inch assault D3, strength 8, -3 AP, D6 blast. That's a pretty good little pistol. And they've got stick bombs. I've also given them the Pyromaniacs rule, which means if an enemy unit is destroyed by an attack made of the burner by this unit, until the next turn, each time a morale test is taken for this unit, it automatically passes. They also, when rolling for attacks, you roll D6, but you never get less than 3. A lot to remember, isn't there? So the commandos at the back, they have a 6-inch move. I've made them sneaky gits, so they get, if they're in cover, they get an additional 2 to armor saving throws. So that's pretty good. Each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, if it's within 1 inch of an open hatchway, or if he's used a distraction grot, add 1 to that attack wound roll. That's throat slitters, boarding patrol. That's pretty good. What else? Cunning infiltrators, deployment. You can put it bit more advanced. They've got sluggers, choppers, so we get lots of attacks. They hit on 3s, strength 5 for the boss knob, strength 4 for the rest of them. Pretty good, really. And finally for the Orks, we've got the flash gits here. These guys are quite shooty, but honestly I've used them before and they're a little bit useless, if I'm allowed to say that. They've got an ammo runt, so I think one of them gets a reroll. They've got snaz guns, 24-inch, heavy 3, damage, strength 6, minus 2 AP, 2 damage. So the whole army has the here we go rule, which means you can reroll charges, a mob rule. Okay, so basically if you're next to a big unit, you never consider. So just checking there, if I do call a wah, when to be honest I should call a wah because it's basically like a big buff. Everyone except for the flash gits, they're above it. They don't care about that wah stuff. They just hang back and shoot. Okay, so I'm going to set up the actual battlefield because right now I've moved it so I can show off the models. And yeah, then let's work out who's going to start deploying first. So that's the deployment zones and the terrain setup. Excuse the models down here. Just didn't have anywhere to put them right now. I've kept the locations of the spawn points the same, but different for teams. So that should have been attacker, that should have been defender. Now we're actually going with defenders here and attackers here. I've also moved this objective point. It was there. Now I've moved it there just to really force the Space Marines to kind of push up and try to take control back of this ship. Yeah, let's have a look at what we need to do next. I think we need to roll off. In fact, let's go over scoring first. So at the end of each player's command phase, the player whose turn it is scores 5 victory points for each of the following to a maximum of 10. So if you control one or more objective, and if you control more than your opponents, you basically control more by having more models on them. So end of each command phase, 5 points if you control one or more than your opponent. Okay, that makes sense. And then at the end of the battle, each player scores 15 for each objective marker that they control. So there's, potentially 45 points just for getting them at the end. So yeah, let's see what happens. So we know who the defenders are. It's the Orks. So basically now starting one unit at a time in the deployment zones, we're going to start with the Orks and then the Space Marines deployment. So the very first thing I'm going to do is deploy a unit of boys in there. Now the Space Marines need to capture this and hold this for basically duration. So what's a shame about that is I'm basically going to have to need to sacrifice a unit to sit at the back. Maybe sit at the back and shoot. Okay. Through these doors maybe. Okay, so that is going to basically mean what the Hellblasters are going to have to go one of these. I'll probably put them down here. So similarly for the Orks, something's going to have to hold that. I really don't think that the Burner Boys are going to do much for the what's it called, against Space Marines, just with flamers. So I might just sacrifice them, and so I might make them the unit that sits here. So back in the Space Marines position, I mean, the bike is what we're going to do here. So the Assault Marines basically going to have to come in here, aren't they? Because that's their job, to whack things, and that's one of the closest positions. I'm just going to carry on with the rest of deployment and then update you when it's done. Okay, so deployment is done. We've basically got the biggest unit of 10 boys here. And also Badruk there with some commandos. We've got the burners back there. I'm basically trying to deny targets a little bit for the aggressors on that flank. I feel like if I can just hold these two and push there with the Orks, then that will be the smart thing to do, basically. I maybe have neglected this, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. For the Space Marines, they're just going to get in and chop. He's going to try and swoop around here and open the door for the Hellblasters, who are going to come and take that objective and then shoot at stuff that way, hopefully. And these are just going to try and march through and mangle stuff with their fists. So yeah, let's have a little roll off and see who goes first. Here we go. Orange for Space Marines and green for the Orks. What we got? Oh, double one. Let's try that again. No way. We maybe sometime. Come on. No, I can't believe it. Like, that's 3 in a row. I need to go to the casino or something. What's that? This is freaky. This is genuinely freaky. There we go. Finally. Orks. Get it. So these little dice here will be tracking my, what they called, command points. Beginning of the command phase, the Orks get 1. Space Marines actually slightly the underdogs on points, even though they do have bike. But anyway, that'll be cool. Let's do Ork movement. Do you know what? I've again had a change of heart about what I'm going to do. I think Badruk's going to advance to there because the Space Marines need to come at us. So, but yeah, Badruk's going to try and advance to there. The commandos, in fact, no, commandos advance there, then there. These are going to move to here to try and relieve whoever has that. And these are going to try and, in fact, no, these are going to try and push around here just to try and, what's it called? You know, support that mass in the middle. So let's see what that looks like. So yeah, they managed to advance enough to basically hold those objectives. So turn 2 for the Orks, they'll be getting points there. How many? I'm not entirely sure at the minute. Next up, these guys open doors and they open doors and they open doors. You can't get through doors you've just opened. So yeah, that is the end of Orks turn 1. We move on to Space Marines turn 1. So what to do here? These are going to have to move up and open that door. That creates an interesting scenario potentially here with those Ork boys. These are going to advance to hold that. He's going to come around here and try and open that door. These are going to push up and open that door. Yeah. So that ends movement. What's interesting is that this has actually created a situation where there is some line of sight between the Orks and the Space Marines through there. You can just see that shoulder pad. So, yeah, he's going to try and throw a grenade in there in the shooting phase, I think. He's checked and he's actually slightly out of range, so he's going to shoot his pistol. He's going to shoot it. It's because they are half range. Both hits. He's going to wound him on 3s, I think. Totally wrong. Wound on 5s, so neither of them wound. And that is the end of turn 1 for both teams. We're going to turn 2 now. Move our little dice, give them an extra CP. Command phase. We basically have points here for the Orks. So it's 5 points for holding 1 or more. And it's 5 points for holding more than the opponent. So 10 victory points right now. So on to, what's it called? Movement for the Orks. So the boys are going to have to go, they might actually advance there, but then they might just get shot to pieces. So maybe they just need to deal with these guys and hit them really hard as soon as they can. Actually winning that flank could be so valuable that it might be worth doing a while, like right now, in turn 2. But I don't know. Anyway, burner boys need to run up and do that. Boys need to come up and do that. Commandos might follow them through. I'm not sure yet. We'll see what happens. So I realised I actually forgot to bring the flash kits on, so I brought them into that deployment zone, advanced them back here to take that. Badruk has basically taken up a kind of, I quite like that it's like the captain's cabin, you know, the end of the ship, and the captain's sort of waiting there. That's quite cool. The burners are going there to take that objective. The boys came around to take that objective. It's all looking pretty good. These squig, cannonball squig commandos basically came and opened this door. These Orks are here, spilling through. They're going to unleash some pain on these Space Marines there. And yeah, see what happens. Probably charge them after that. We've got 5 boys in range here. We're going to start with shooting. Hitting on 5s, wounding on 5s. And that is actually a double hit. 2 more 5-ups. None of them. One of these commandos at the back can actually see, so hit on 5s. Nope. We're going to do a charge. I mean, just, yeah, that gets in. So, the 4 boys here get 2 attacks each. He gets 3, but I'll do him separately. So here we are hitting on 3s. Pointingly, only 2 hits, wounding on 4s. One of them gets through. Okay, hold on a second. I actually missed out on the extra attacks they get for having their choppers. So hitting on 3s, all of them hit. Wounding on 4s. Yes. Wow, 3 of them do. So basically 4 saves need to be made by the Space Marines, minus 1 AP. So it's a 4 up, I'll count that. And they all saved. Now the boss, he hits on 4s because it's a bit unwieldy. And he's hit on 2 of them. And it's wounding on 3s, I think. Or is it 2s? Actually, it's 2s. Oof, that's lethal. I'm going to re-roll that CP. Oh, 3 AP. Space Marine needs a 6 to survive. Gets it. So 16 attacks from the Space Marines coming back because they were charged. They get an extra attack. And oh wow, did they get an extra attack for having this start his chainsaw? Well, so there's going to be another 5 attacks after this as well. Hit on 3s. Those extra 5 attacks, little bits. Loads of them hit, to be honest. That was ridiculous. Okay, and then one of these is making it up. Okay, wow. So not looking good for these orcs. So 5s to wound. A few of them got through. Start his chainswords have minus 1 AP, which would be 6s to 7s. So that's not happening. So basically, 5 of these piratey orcs are dead. So let's do a little morale test for them. What was it? D6 plus casualties. So D6 plus 5. 2 plus 5. They've got leadership 7, so they're fine. So that was the orcs' turn, basically. They got 10 victory points, lost 5 boys, did a bit of shimmying. Now we move on to turn 2 for the Space Marines, moving up to 4 CP, which is pretty healthy. Let's have a look what's going to happen here. So they've opened that door. They're going to move down here. They might try and actually just crush Badruk. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? And actually get on that objective. Could they do that? Could they open that and then shoot? Not sure if you can do that. I think you can actually. That door's open, so he's going to potentially blast up here. Maybe also hassle Badruk, but that door needs opening. These are just going to have to stand at the back and try and shoot anything they can see, which is a bit of a waste of them because they're Hellblasters. These are kind of winning that fight. So, yeah, not many decisions to make, to be honest. So, what we've done here actually is these guys have opened up this door. They should be able to get some shots on those flash gits. The bike actually advanced and did a re-roll for a command point to get to this door. We're going to have to do a strength roll off here because basically Badruk is going to be trying to push against that door to stop the chaplain getting into his little captain's cabin there, which is pretty cool. These guys moved to a very strategic position where they're going to hopefully have line of sight on Badruk if they're within 30 inches for a shot. And these folks just stayed there. They're just going to continue having that big old fight there. So yeah, let's do the strength roll off here. So he's only strength 4, even though he's gone full pelt on a bike. And I think he's strength 5, Badruk. Is that right? Yeah. So let's do that little roll off. What we're going to have to do. So basically, to successfully open this, the Space Marine needs to get more than 2 above, I think. And succeeds. Yeah, so the door's open. Bad news for Badruk is there's a lot of stuff going to come through this door now. I think the mistake the Space Marines have made here actually is that his positioning means that he's now within an inch, or that he was within an inch. So now he's in engagement range. So now he can't actually be shot, and now he gets to attack first against the chaplain. So that's a bit of an oversight. But let's move on to shooting. We've got pistols here. We've got some flame stuff there. Let's do these pistols first. 5 shots in the orcs. Hit on 3s. Pretty good. Wounding, on 5s. In fact, killing on 5s. Yeah, it's 1 dead orc. That's pretty good going. And now we've got Flamestorm gauntlets going into these flash gits, kind of punishing them for being kind of unorky and running off rather than just getting stuck in. And the orc players might tune out right now because I did that. Very sorry. 3d6 shots on those. Wow, that's a lot of shots. So they auto hit, but they wound on 5s, which isn't that good. And they don't have any AP. Wound on 5s. We've got 1, 2, 3. Is that it? No AP. So they're going to get their armor save plus -1 for being through the door for a bit of cover. This little orc who just died should have got a 6 for being in cover through the door. Didn't get it anyway. Flash kids have a 4-up surprisingly. So they get a 3-up. Space Marine saves for orcs. And shall I CP that? How many wounds they got? Where are they? Oh, there. Yeah, they get 2 wounds each. That's fine. One of them's on 1 wound. I'm going to leave a little marker for that. There you go. Cool. I feel like I survived that pretty well. I'm going to declare some charging now. Those guys there are going to try and charge through the door. Space Marines need 5 to get into combat, and they easily get in. So the aggressors get to go all the way in there. Happy days. Oh, well, it's going to get pretty squishy in there. You know, on second thoughts, I'm not entirely sure you can open a door and then shoot and then charge, but I might be wrong. Leave a comment if I'm getting that wrong. Seems a little bit very maneuverable, but you never know. Anyway, aggressors, what do they get? They get... Where are they on the list? They get 3 attacks for the normal guys, 4 for the sergeants, hitting on 4s because it's unwieldy, and basically squishing people on 2s. Actually, no, on 3s. Okay, so 10 attacks, hitting on 4s, and wounding on 3s, which isn't that good for like power fisty sort of stuff, but orcs are quite tough, aren't they? Hitting on 4s. Wounding on 3s, and I think these do 2 damage each. Yeah. Oh wow, that's terrible rolling. 1 of them. Wow. So that's 1 wound lost by the flash kits. And so they lose 1. Let's lose this one. Who's like the thick of it? Okay. Now 1, 2, 3 of them get the hit back. So not too bad for the orcs, to be honest. 9 attacks. Hitting on 3s and wounding on 4s. There's 1 there, and yeah, not terrible. Wounding on 4s. Okay, 3 of them, wow. And lots of aggressors. Aggressors get 3-up saves and have 3 wounds each, and they all saved. So that combat's finished for this turn. One, what's he called? Flash Git was killed. Let's put him away. Now we move over to here. So it was the Space Marine's turn, so the orcs get to hit back first. I'm going to do the boss knob first. So he wounds on, hits on 3s. I'm going to CP that. Puts me down to 1. Really want to kill some Space Marines here. Yeah, that was good. Wounds on 2s. Oh, 2 of them get through. I don't think I can re-roll that one, can I, with another CP? AP -3. So, need 6s here for the Space Marines. Oh, neither of them. And they're 2 damage each, so that's 2 dead Space Marines. Not looking good. Now the boys get to hit back. 9 attacks for the normal boys. Hit on 3s. Wounding on 4s. Ooh. 3-up saves. Both saved. So, at the end of... Oh, we need to do this combat here, don't we? How could I forget? We've got the 2 bosses against each other. So, Badruk, there's a rule called Flashiest Gits where he gives freebooters within 6 inches rerolls of hits. I assume that means himself, because things normally have auras that affect themselves. Anyway, 6 attacks, which is pretty healthy. Hitting on 2s and rerolling 1s, apparently. We didn't even need those rerolls. So he is, it's basically forced to wound. Wow, lots of those. That's pretty good, you know. It's a -1 AP, so we're going to have to go 4-up. And there's a 4-up save anyway for the chaplain. 4-up saves. All made. Now the chaplain gets to hit back. 4 attacks hitting on 2s. Whoops, that's 3 of them. Strength 4 against toughness 5. Wounding on 5s. Okay, yeah, it doesn't get any fans. Oh no, it gives him +2 strength. So he's wounding on 3s. All but 1. It's got -. 1 AP. Badruk's got a 3 up. So we're on 4 ups. Oof. 1 pass, 1 failed. 2 damage. I'm going to use my last command point as an orc for this 4 up. Yes, saved. That's the end of turn 2. And basically, these are getting whittled down there. Both sides, to be honest. If these come in and help there, that could change things quite a bit. These didn't get to shoot because he ended up being in base range, but pretty cool how he did blast through there and got that door down. These are probably going to do damage again, the aggressors, I think. They're going to do good things. Wow, you don't really get many Space Marines compared to Orks, do you, for 500 points? These are probably going to have to conga line a bit out here to start shooting at stuff. He could pull back. No, he's going to... Yeah. Right, so next will be turn 3 for the Orks. So, Orks command phase. 1, 2, but the same amount as Space Marines, so they get 5 victory points this turn. What we're going to do, so I think these flash gits, because they're not the most smashiest, they're going to come around here to make room for, so basically disengage, to make room for these orc boys to pile in and try and do damage there. Maybe the burner boys going to try and burn them, but that'll be futile, I imagine. These are going to come through here and going to shoot. Oh, they can't shoot the chaplain, actually, can they? They're going to try and hit the chaplain, these commandos. And if they're within an inch or so of a what's it called? That doorway, I think they get an extra save as well. So yeah, that's kind of what's going to happen. And I nearly forgot, before moving anyone, what's also going to happen is wah! So here we go. The commandos riding the squigs. Pretty good smashing position there. Orks, pretty good shooting and then hitting position there. These, I mean, in the same position they were in, but now there's a wah active, which means that we get 1 strength and 1 attack to all my orcs, and everyone has a 5-up invulnerable save, which is going to bode well, I think, this turn. Just want to emphasize the need for the Space Marines to basically, at any stage, hold more than the opponent's objectives. I'm not sure how promising that looks. There's just so many orcs sitting on these objectives now. They should... Oh, yeah, it's not looking good Space Marines wise. There's just so many orcs. So first off, I'm going to do the Badruk as a pistol into the chaplain. I'm not going to show that, and the orc shooting. I doubt anything's going to happen, so I'll just do it off cam. So, I mean, 1 wound got through over there, but the command pointed the save just to keep those wounds off. Yeah, Space Marines now. We're going to do charges over here. That's probably like a 3-inch charge. Yeah, here it gets in. Here it's probably like 2-inch. So, I mean, yeah, all the orcs are getting into combat now. So charging is complete. So I think I'm going to whack the Primaris chaplain on a bike with my commandos first. Let's see what happens. First off, we have 3 attacks from the boss knob commando who has a power claw. He's going to be hitting on 4s. 2 of them hit. What about the war, didn't I? He gets another attack. That's missed. Okay. So he gets plus 1 strength. So he's strength 6 now. Doubled, strength 12. His toughness 5 on the bike. 2's wounding. Wow. Both got through. 4 up invulnerable saves. 1 pass. 1 failed. And that does 2 damage, I think, is it? Yeah, so 2 wounds have come off the Primaris chaplain on the bike. The rest of the commandos getting 4 attacks each because it's a war. Hitting on 3s. I'll roll it somewhere better actually. Right here. Something like 10 of those attacks got through. Wounding on 5s. 1, 2, 3. 3 got through. That's 1 AP, means 4 up saves for the chaplain. Takes 1 wound. That's him down to 4 wounds. So now the chaplain is going to fight back, and he's going to clear out those that unit of boys a little bit, to be honest. So with the Crozius Arcanum, he gets 3 attacks, but he was charged, so he gets an extra Actually, no, he gets 4 attacks plus 1. So these are hitting on 2s. 2 miss. 6, toughness 5, wounding on 3s. They all got through. Because of the war, all orcs now have a 5-up invulnerable save. 1 save, 2 wounds. The commandos have 1 wound each. So 2 of these get taken out of there. Oops, just knocked the dice off. Now in this combat, we're going to have Badruk hitting back at the Primaris Chaplain. Let's see what happens. He gets a normal 5 attacks. He gets 1 more for his chopper. And he gets 1 more for the war. Let's have the green dice for the war. And he's going to be hitting on 2s. I'm going to... Shall I CP it? No, it's just a chopper, isn't it? Okay. So he gets the extra strength because of the war. So he's strength 6 now against toughness 5. Wounding on 3s. And all but 2 of them. Saves for the chaplain. Oh, that's a 2. That's a 2. That's a 5 or a 6. So 2 wounds come off him. That's a little bit worrying for the chaplain. Next up, we have other charges over here. We've got the boys. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say 8 of them are within melee range. So this is going to be a lot of attacks because they've all got choppers. So they get an extra attack. Plus it's a war. Wow, they get a base 2 attacks each. The boss knob gets 3. Yeah, lots of attacks coming into those aggressors over there. Going to do the boss knob first. He gets 4 attacks. -1 to hit because of the big power claw. 4s to hit. 2 of them got through. It doubles his strength, which will now be up to 6, sorry. So basically wounding aggressors on 2s. Pretty nuts. Wow, both got through. -3 AP. This is 6-up saves for the Space Marines. 5, 4. No good. Each do 2 damage. Aggressors have 3 wounds each. So one of those aggressors is dead. And the other one is on 1 wound. It's not good. Orcs hit hard, don't they? Wow, should play with them more. So this is going to be 28 attacks, 7 times 4, into the aggressors. I'm going to need a pause while I pick up all these dice. These are hitting on 3s, as you'd expect. Lots of hits. Only 6 misses there. Wounding on 4s because of the war. So by sheer weight of numbers, there's 9 got through there. On the aggressors, these are going to be 4-up saves that need to be done here. They have 3 wounds each. Let's see what happens to this remaining unit of aggressors. That's 1, 2, 3. 1 dead. Oops, that's a 3 and a 2. That's 1 dead and another 1. Oh, was there 1 left with 1 wound? Is that right? Yeah, in which case, that means the aggressors are absolutely out of there. And that's quite a significant loss on that flank for the Space Marines. Boarding actions, you can only consolidate after combat if you're actually going to end up in combat. That's not the case for the Orks. So they're going to end up staying there. Now we are going to go over here. Because it's the Orcs' turn, it's going to be the Space Marines hitting first. So the Sergeant gets 3 attacks plus 1. So 4 for his chainsword. The other ones get 2 plus 3. Excuse me, which by my reckoning is 10 attacks, is that right? So we got 10 attacks hitting on 3s. Is that all hit? Wow, good slashing. Wounding on 5s, which isn't that easy to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's pretty good rolling. Because of the war, my pirates here, they get 5-up invulnerables. Let's see what happens. 1 dead. 2 dead, 3 dead, 4 dead, 5 dead. And there's only 4 of them left, which means these Orkies are absolutely gone. And at the end of Orc combat there, that's quite an interesting sort of turn up for the books. So the Orcs have basically won on that far flank there. Space Marines have won on this far flank here. So next we will move on to the Space Marines. Turn 3, and let's see what happens. So Space Marines, the command phase, get another command point. They control one objective. That's only 5 victory points, meaning that they're going to be on a total of 10 this beginning of turn 3. So basically 15 points to 10 on victory points at the beginning of turn 3. Movement wise, these are going to move up around here to try and help the chaplain. Really disappointed the aggressors are gone. I'm not sure what to do with these because they're a very shooty unit. Do they just need to kind of hold that and stand there and then try and shoot more? I mean, they can't see anyone to shoot, to be honest. So, bit of a waste. I mean, how many points are they? 180 points. So that's what? Nearly 20% of my army points-wise? Something like that, is it? Or 40%? Wow, it's like 40% of my army's points is in there, I think. If it's 500 points. Is that right? Oh, my math is rubbish at that. So, anyway, a lot of points there. Space Marines, not looking good for the Space Marines, honestly, because I think the green tide is just so strong, and those attacks in combat, it's just ridiculous. Okay, so let's do movement. So movements happened. They came around here. The couple of them are going to be able to shoot Badruk. Actually, 3 of them are going to be able to shoot at Badruk before charging the Orks there. These won't have anyone to shoot at, so they're just holding that objective, but also kind of waiting for their chance to open fire down that avenue to try and kill some Orks, basically. Right then, so we're going to do 3 bolter shots, or bolter pistol shots, sorry, into Captain Badruk. No, I'm actually going to do 1 crack grenade into Badruk. So first off, shooting, hitting on 3s, on 5s, both, look at that. Invulnerable. Oh, he loses a wound from pistol shots. About time things started to happen for the Space Marines. Right, now we're going to do a crack grenade on Badruk. Come on. It hits. 6, toughness 6. Whoa, look at that, it's wounded. Now 5 up and invulnerable. Could command point it if it fails. D3 wounds if it gets through. Passes. Gonna charge in, because that's the own. Actually, no, my guy on the bike's got a pistol. Gonna shoot a pistol at the cannonball squigs. It's on a 2. Yep. Wounds on a 4? Or is that a 5? It's on a 4 actually. AP -1, but the Orks get a 5 up invulnerable. So 5 up invulnerable save. And it's saved. A lot of armor saves happening this turn, with all this shooting happening here. Now we're going to put the Space Marines in, charging in. Yeah, they get in. Deliberately putting them like right on the objective there so that they might own that next turn. So I'm also going to, I've got them in. So these guys, it's kind of fuzzy in the rules, but I think they have objective secured, which means they can do an action at the end of their movement, which means that stays ours, and then they can move on. So we're going to do that, hopefully get 2 turns of usefulness out of them with a bit more mobility, so they don't just have to stand at the back there. To be honest, on Battlescribe, which I use a lot, these are my notes, it doesn't say anything about objective secured on there. It's a little bit, that could be better. Anyway. So the normal guys get 3 attacks. The sergeant gets, normal guys get 2 plus 2 because they charged and because they got a chainsword. Normal guy gets 3 plus 2. So a lot of attacks coming here. So we're going to hit those Orks on 3s. Going to wound these Orks on 5s. Oh, pretty good. 5 up invulnerables because of the wah. Oh, 3 wounds get through. Shall I try and save 1? Because that is, I think, a dead unit of commandos. No, the boss knob has 2 wounds. I'm going to command point 1 of those 5 up saves. Pretty risky, but you never know. Power of the war rules. And so only 2 wounds get taken down. So the boss knob is basically on full 2 wounds. And he gets to hit back with his, with his big claw. Actually, yes, he does. So he gets 3 attacks plus 1 because of the war. And he's going to be hitting on 3s normally, but it's a big old power claw, so hitting on 4s. 2. Clear clear it also. These are going into the claw doubles his strength because of the war. That means he's strength 12 against toughness of 6, is it? 5 even. Wounding on 2s. Wow, I'm going to re-roll one of these for a CP, my last one. Wow. It's got a -3 AP, so he's going to have to... The chaplain's going to have to use his 4-up invulnerable. And it fails, and I'm going to command point that. And it fails again! Power Claw does 2 damage. Chaplain had 2 wounds left. That last hurrah, probably from him, means that the chaplain is out of there. And this orc on the cannonball squig, the boss knob, turns around to bring his will to bear on the Space Marines. And that's the end of Space Marines turn 3. A fair bit of loss. Turn 3 for the Space Marines. They've lost altogether now an entire unit of aggressors, a few assault marines, and a chaplain. Huge losses there for the Space Marines. Absolutely terrible, to be honest. Actually, I'll need to take a morale check for him. He's just lost 4 of his buddies. D6 plus 4. I think he's okay. Yeah, he's okay. We now move on to Orks turn 4. 1, 2 objectives is the same amount as the opponent, so they just get 5 points. They move to 20 victory points. Bad news for the Space Marines. It's time for the Orks to really, you know, do the sucker punch after that rope-a-dope and pulling back, pulling them in, winning. It's time for this green horde to go through that door. It's time for these guys to push up. I'm the captain now. And the Burner boys are just going to hang around this objective here. So let's do that movement. Right then, Orc movement has happened. They came around there. Badruk came out here. This cannonball squig commando, very tactical commando, cunning move, has pulled out of there so that some shooting can happen here with the flash gits and Badruk. And a couple of those boys probably. The Burner boys have basically stood and ready to just singe anything that comes their way. Honestly, it's looking pretty bad for the Space Marines. They've got very few units left. What's going to happen? I mean, things could turn around. The Hellbasters aren't slouches in combat if it comes to that. Let's see what happens with some Badruk shooting. So Badruk's gun is heavy 3. He moved, so we're going to be hitting on 4s. Pretty good shooting. 7 against toughness 4, wounding on 3s. Got no command points to use. In fact, no, I would have got one back, wouldn't I? Gonna redo that. Gets through. Command point myself in the command phase there. It's got a -3 AP. Wow, these are two damage. These could be 2 dead Space Marines. They need 6s. 2 dead assault intercessors. Wow, that's much better shooting than I expected, honestly. I actually gave Badruk an ammo runt as well, so could have just used the ammo runt there, to be honest. So now we've got the snaz guns on the, what do you call them? The flash gits. They normally hit on 4s, they're heavy, but they moved, so hit on 5s. 2. Flash gits do have an ammo runt, hitting on 5s. Wow, honestly, these Orky rerolls are really paying off. 6 toughness 4, wounding on 3s. All wound. AP -2, but I'm going to give him a cover shave. So, saving on 4s here. And these do how many damage each shot? 2 damage each shot. Wow, these all need to save on 4 or more. Oh, one of them doesn't save. I'm going to command point that. Reroll to try and keep that person alive, even though he's probably going to get smashed in close combat. 4 up. And he stays alive. Well done. Could get interesting. 2 orcs at the back there are going to shoot at the, what's he called? The Marine. They hit on 5s. Nope. On to charging. The boys who are spilling through this door are going to charge. They need a 6 to get in. Wow, they didn't get it. Oh, silly boys. Badruk going to charge in. He needs a 2. And he gets an 11. So he's getting right stuck in there. Badruk getting stuck in now. He's pretty badass, actually. He gets 5 attacks because of the Wah and +1. Sorry, he gets 5 attacks base +1. Anyway, hitting on 2s, I believe. Is that right? Oh, wow, he gets an additional attack for his chopper. Okay, wow. Lots of attacks hitting on 2s. 1 missed, strength 5, toughness 4, wounding on 3s. This does not look good for the Space Marine. 1 AP. 4 up save now to save the last combat competent Space Marine. Ooh. Oh. If it was 2, I could have re-rolled one of them for my last command point. Anyway, he's dead. Sad to say it, but he is absolutely dead. And with that, at the end of Orks turn 4, quite close on victory points currently, but it has to be said that Ork Tide is really rising now and coming towards this last remaining unit of Hellblasters as we move on to Space Marines turn 4. Desperate times call for desperate measures. They own 1 what's it called? Victory point. What's it called? Objective. Sorry. So they move on to 15 points. The Orks have 20. So honestly, in victory points, currently not too severe. I will say that they need to clear this out. So basically what's going to happen is these 4 are supercharged, going to fire shots into him. And this guy is going to fire supercharged into him. So all supercharged shooting from the Hellblasters. This is where they have to basically prove their worth as people and in terms of points. So the good news is they're going to rapid fire. I'm just going to check the Doctrine status. Doctrines only affect AP, and he's got an invulnerable save anyway. So here we go. Let's take 2 shots each with those 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to be hitting on 3s. I should say I get another command point. Did I just do that already? Oh, no. So here we go, hitting on 3s into Captain Badruk, who's got 5 wounds left. Pretty good. Actually, not that good. I'm going to command point one of these. 3 up. Nope. I forgot to do something there, and that is to actually roll each model individually, so I'm going to do that again. So the first person, there's a 1 that is insta-death, unless I command point it, which I will. Still dead. We'll say this guy. He's slain. Okay. But we got 1 hit. Okay. Moving on. Next Space Marine into Badruk. Missed. Okay. Next Space Marine. That's number 3rd Space Marine. 2 hits. That's good. And then the final Space Marine into Badruk. Whoa. 2 hits. That came off my finger funny there. But anyway. 8. Toughness 6. We're going to be wounding on 3s. Oh, terrible rolling. 1 of them succeeded. He's 4 up invulnerable. If he fails, then he loses 2 wounds. And he's passed. Wow, honestly, 4 Hellblasters shot, overcharged into Badruk. All that happened is 1 Space Marine died. That's terrible. Right, the guy on the end, he's going to shoot into the Ork, what's it called? Hit 1, missed 1, wounding on probably 3s. Well, definitely not wounding on 1. That was absolutely terrible, folks. I don't know if that was, I don't know if that's, what's the word? Apparent, but that was terrible from the Space Marines. The Astral Embers, possibly the worst Space Marines ever to grace the battlefield in this matchup. Right, let's call that a turn, shall we? They're not going to charge, they're just going to stand there. Actually, no, I'm going to declare a charge on Captain Badruk. Honestly, I need to get up there to control 2, and I really want to kill him. So yeah, let's try and charge him. How many inches do we need? Need to roll an 8. Is it an 8? Let me double check. I think that's an 8 or a 9. Let's see. So that's more like an 8 actually. Yeah, okay. 2d6, roll an 8, no rerolls. Has to be a 6, has to be a 6. Not a 6. And that is the end of Space Marines turn 4. Now we move on to Orks turn 4. Orks have 1, 2, 3. Space Marines have 1, so they get 10 points. So it's going to be... Okay, one sec. My mistake, we're actually on to turn 5 now. So this is the final turn. So the Orks have 10 victory points. So they're going to move on to 30 victory points. The way it works for the Space Marines is that they score victory points based on the end of the game. So they don't score victory points based on the beginning command phase. It's actually at the end of their turn. So now the Green Horde is going to go towards them and try and smash them. Let's see what happens. Right then, so the boys have moved up here. Probably a big charge that. Doubt they'll make it. Badruk's here. His shooting was actually pretty good last turn. And this commando orc on the cannonball squig, the boss knob, is there. These boys are going to stay there, try and get some shots off with their snaz guns. They didn't move. And yeah, these are just staying at the back. Those burner boys, basically objective holders for the entirety of the match. How much did they cost? 55 points. Absolutely fine. That's only a tenth of my entire army unit cost, so pretty cheap and pretty effective. First off, we're going to have Captain Badruk shooting into the Hellblaster. 3 shots, hitting on 5s because he moved. 1? None? None. Flash kits, snaz guns are going to go in and hit on 4s, I believe. Yep, it's still. Also, it's not terrible shooting, you know. Okay. I forgot to add my command point as well for this turn. There we go. So, 4 shots, hit the Space Marines. Strength 6, toughness 4, wounding on 3s. Rubbish rolling. That's 2 AP, takes them to a 5 up, but that bit of cover there between them, I'm going to say that that gives them a 4 up save. And that's failed. And there's no command points. And that's 2 damage. That is a dead Hellblaster. Snob's going to shoot his slugger in. He hits. Does he wound? 4 up? Yes, he does. Get a 3 up normal save, but they also get +1, I think, for the cover there. I think that's fair to give them a cover save. So 2 up. Passed. 5 of those boys at the front are shot at them, hitting on 5s. 2 of them. 4s. Nope. That's all of our shooting done, actually. So now we're going to move on to some charging. Let me check. Badruk needs to get a... What's that? Like a 4 to get in. Sorry. They need to get like a 7 to get in. Okay, so Badruk needs 4 on 2d6. Let's use green dice because orcs. And he gets in. The boys need a 7. Do they get in? 4, 6. Oh, no, they don't. I'm going to re-roll that. Same. They don't get in. So Badruk, by himself, is getting into combat here. And let's see what happens in this, the very last orc combat round of the game. The war has subsided, I believe, at this stage. So he's getting 5 attacks, +1 for his chopper, and he hits on 2s. Only misses 1. 5 toughness, 4 wounds on 3s. Nasty. It's 1 AP. That makes us a 4 up save for Space Marines. Oh, 3 wounds. That's 1 dead Space Marine and 1 left on 1 wound. There we are. Now they can't kill him, but the Space Marines are going to hit back. Do you know what? They can kill him. So they're going to get 5 attacks. They're going to hit him on 3s. Could they leave him on 1 wound here? They're going to wound him on 5s. Need more good rolling. Oh, it's a 4 up invuln. And he saves it anyway. It's the end of Orcs turn 5. That's Orcs done basically for the game. Now we'll move on to Space Marines turn 5. The very final phase where they have to, well, let's be honest, they have to hit back. So knowing that this is a marathon, not a sprint, the Astral Embers make the decision actually in their movement phase to disengage from combat and actually close the door. They're gonna go and lick their wounds and come back and fight another day against the Green Horde. They know that they need to rethink their strategies. In terms of victory points, let's work out exactly what it looks like now. So all in now, we have the end of the match. At the end of the turn, they scored 5 points for having that. So also at the end of the battle, you work out how many victory points each team have. Space Marines on 1, so that's 15 points per objective. And these have 3, so they get 15 points for having 1 or more, and 15 points additionally for having more than their opponent. That means at the end of normal play, the Space Marines had 30 to 20 to the Orks, losing. The Orks had an additional 30 points and 15 points here for the Space Marines, meaning the Orks win 60 victory points to 45. Which, to be honest, when you look at it, it doesn't sound as bad as I think it was. This is a narrative campaign. We're going to think about how we need to think again as the Space Marines about what we're bringing and how we're playing. Let's see if they manage to get this spacecraft back. Wrestle control from Captain Badruk and the Freebooter Orks. Thanks for watching Peacetime Painting. Please, if you think that I'm playing the Space Marines completely incorrectly, let me know in the comments, because they got kind of steamrolled a little bit there, honestly. But yeah, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. If you've lasted this far, then I think you probably have. And have a good day, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Cheers.